I just drag my contact out doing that. You ever do that? Probably not, because you don't make faces like that very often, do you?
No. Because see, like my mom told me, your face will stick like that one of these days.
Pretty much, or like my contact will go pew pew. What is happening, everybody? What's happening? Hello. What's going on? I see Sandra there saying, "Hey, everybody." That's exactly how she said it.
That's how she said it?
Hey!
Keep singing while I open my soda. I didn't tell you to stop singing.
How about that?
No, that's not singing. It's terrible. It's terrible.
What is happening? We are back. We are back. We were gone last weekend. We were in Tucson. So now we are back. I want to say hello to everybody that's showing up. I want to give a special shout out to our buddy Nate Ricks in the chat there.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, I hope you're feeling all right. We heard that you have the COVID, and I'm hoping that you being here in the chat is an indication that maybe you're feeling a little bit better. We're definitely worried about you, so I hope you're on the mend. So hello, and hello to the rest of you guys. And
we've missed you.
We have.
2 weeks is too long. 2 weeks is too long. I do think we need to start back with our Friday nights after dark at least once a month. I don't know how these guys feel about that, but I pretty much think they'd like it.
They probably hate that idea. Ugh. They gotta hang out with us. But yeah, definitely. So yeah, we're back after being gone for a couple weeks. I will say we're going to try to keep the show a little short, which means it'll be about an hour 45 instead of 2 hours, right?
Yeah, probably.
But we are in the middle of Christmas decorating hell because we have so much stuff. Basically, when we decorate for Christmas, I have to make like 3 trips to the storage unit to fill the car up. And it takes
we have a Nissan Pathfinder, mind you, a 7-passenger SUV.
Yeah. And it takes us like a good solid 2.5 to 3 days to actually do all of the decorating. And so right now it is just like Christmas exploded everywhere. And we're down in Nevada. So with the time change and everything, it gets dark so early, and I have stuff I have to do out in the front. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's dark by 4.
Yeah. Well, 4:30, it gets pretty dark. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so we're going to try to do that, but it's been quite an eventful couple of weeks. We were in Tucson last weekend, probably our last trip for a while. We kind of, with everything going on with the holidays, with, COVID numbers going up pretty well everywhere again. We're kind of isolating more again.
We're back to shutting ourselves down.
Yeah. We don't really do anything. We don't really go out and do stuff much. We've done a few weekends away to go and source.
We've done quite a few, actually. We've done, considering 2020 has been such a clusterfuck, let's call it what it is for everybody. We've done 6 short weekend trips away, all sourcing related. So it's kind of been nice to get out of the house and get out of our rut, but we're definitely done for this year anyway.
Yeah, now we're like, we had planned to try and go back to see my family in Oregon in December, and now we're just like, it's not going to happen. So maybe in the spring. I mean, I don't really know. It's not going to happen. We usually have like our Christmas Eve open house where we have all of our friends around, come to that. And this is going to be the first year we're not doing that. She's really sad about that. I'm sad about it too, but it's Vicki's like one big thing she does every year. So we're not doing that. We are planning to go to our local friends. Like I'm sure most of you guys have this, where you have like your local friends that are in your bubble.
Your COVID
pod. So we have like a select few friends here that all work from home as well, that we have occasionally gotten together with as safely as possible. And so that's what we were planning on doing for Thanksgiving. But we did go. We got up early this morning, went and got COVID testing. It was fun in the car. Didn't have to do it, and it didn't have to get poked in the brain, but they did do like a throat swab.
Picture like a strep test with the big swab in your throat, but like for 5 full seconds you're gagging. The guy's counting 1, 2, 3, swirling it around your uvula.
Well, and they make you go, so you're like going, you pretty much sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall when his helmet breaks on Mars. But anyway, so we went and got tested. So we'll find out the results for that before Thanksgiving. So obviously if for some reason we're positive, because we did go out of town, we will just stay home, but we want to make sure that we're safe for those few friends that we are going to see. And then after that, we're pretty much not going anywhere for a while. So, but anyway, yeah, so that's the fun. Plus we had a few more friends, local friends, we just found out yesterday that they're tested positive, and one of our friends is in the hospital here because he has a heart issue that complicates things. So
James, if you happen to be watching this, if you're bored to tears, and I hope that you are feeling well enough that you're bored to tears in the hospital, we just want you to know that we're thinking about you. We hope that you're okay, and we'll be checking in.
Yeah, he's our trivia buddy, so we're worried about him. Yes, Kimothy. You got the Victoria F-bomb 5 minutes in, if that. I don't even know if it was 5 minutes.
3 minutes.
She's quite inappropriate. Not a safe show to watch if you have small children, unless you appreciate foul-mouthed, pink-haired ladies around your children. It's fun. So,
I hope you're not watching the show with your toddlers in the first place, because
I don't know.
They need some better TV.
Whatever. I think we're pretty awesome. Yes, Robin, you did miss it, but you can still go ahead and take a shot, because we can promise you that it did indeed occur.
It did.
It did indeed. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and, Allison says that she had the privilege of giving swabs when I was a lab technician. Initiating that gag reflex is my jam. I can't imagine, because where we went, it was at the Texas, what is it called? The Texas Station Casino. So it didn't open back up. So it's just empty. And so they basically had it there. And so it was cars everywhere in like these big rows and lines and stuff. And they had the National Guard there helping. But I was thinking after we were done that it's just got to be weird for the lab technicians there, because it's just literally hours straight of people going, like just one after another. I'm like, that's gotta be a little weird. And does anybody ever throw up? Allison, did you ever have anyone throw up? Because that seems like it'd be a possibility. Some people have issues. Hers was pretty loud. And the guy's just going 1, 2, 3, because he counts the 5 counts
out loud.
That was you.
Good times. Anyway, so we went, because I've been feeling like crap for the past week or so. Chances are it is just a head
cold. Since we got back.
Chances are it's just a head cold. It's nothing worse than that, but we want to just be on. And I haven't left the house other than our testing today. So just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, for sure. So Sandra says that Rebecca threw up after a swab a few weeks ago. So now we have one
positive puker.
One positive puker. So that's pretty exciting. Did she throw up on the person doing the swab? That's what I want to know. Was it like projectile vomiting, or just like, did she do a polite little over the shoulder?
Listen, Sandra, I am ignoring your comments. I want you to realize I am wholeheartedly ignoring your comments and any that Allison has yet to make. So moving on.
Inappropriate. Anyway, so look at that. We're only 8 minutes in, so we're going to get right into it. Our show, this is a Sunday live haul. We break it up into 3 parts. The first part, we go over our numbers for the last week. We can look at our gross numbers, and then we look at some of our costs to go into that, specifically our cost of goods and fees and whatnot. And if
we have any new watchers this week, which does happen, it does occasionally. I'm Vikki. This is Katy.
Actually, you're Victoria if you want to be taken seriously. I'm sorry. Nobody's taking you seriously when you're sitting there going, it's just not going to happen. Anyway, aka my fiance. So then the middle part of the show, we look at some of our the solds highlights from the last week, some of the cool stuff that we have managed to actually sell in the slowest fourth quarter of all time. And then the last part of our show, we do our haul, where we look at some of the stuff that we picked up over this last week, mainly stuff that we bought whilst we were in Tucson.
I have some stuff that I bought in Tucson. Actually, some of my stuff is 2 weeks old, because every clothing item that I picked up in Tucson is with Crystal already. So,
and I will say the biggest highlight for me, because I didn't get a whole lot of stuff in Tucson, but my biggest highlight was having, for the first time, I believe it's pronounced a Sonoran dog. They're the hot dogs that they make is like the thing in Tucson. And it is a hot dog wrapped in bacon in a hot dog bun with pinto beans on it, some salsa, some sour cream, some mustard. I don't know what's on there, but it's friggin' delicious. And I would also like to point out that Lori says, just talking about puking makes me gag. So there's a good possibility that Lori has already vomited during our show today. So
that might be a first. That might be a first. We made somebody vomit during our show. I hope it's a first.
I don't know.
I hope it's not a first. Actually, I don't want.
Yeah, I want to be. I want to be known that I want it to be known everywhere that watching our show will potentially make you throw up. So, or at the very least, make you go. All
right, enough. I'm with you, Lori. I have to say, if I hear the real thing. I was not a good mom when it came to that. I would have called in the homeless person down the street to clean up the vomit when my kid threw up rather than do it myself. So yeah, I'm not good with other people's vomit. That is my kryptonite is vomit and retching sounding. So being in nursing school.
Yeah, it didn't have that work out for you.
Yeah, it was the one thing that I don't know if I was going to be able to get past.
All right, let's go ahead and start our show. We're going to look at our numbers for this last week. Let me share the screen here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start with mine. You know what that means? That means Vikki kicked my ass as per usual. I'm still, my numbers are still, my sales are still going pretty slow. eBay was okay. It's been not a good past 30 days. Like my sales are down on eBay about 30% from the previous 30 days. I do think that the election and everything around it has had a lot to do with that, and a lot of people losing their unemployment, things like that. There's any number of things that could be going on. But I'm chugging along. It's okay. I got 20 eBay orders, 10 Etsy orders, nothing on Instagram, and then just 2 on Grailed and Mercari, 1 on each of those platforms. So meh on those.
This is a meh third week of November. I just want you to, that's beyond, that's lower than mediocre.
I mean, keep in mind, guys, usually fourth quarter is when things just really start exploding. So
when they start popping off.
When they start popping off, as the young kids of 10 years ago used to say. So my eBay gross sales, $1,402.68. My Etsy has been so dead for, it's not just eBay. My Etsy has been really dead for the last few weeks. And then the last couple of days, it's really been coming back to life. So Etsy, actually, I did okay. $740.60. Again, nothing on Instagram. And then Grilled and Mercari combined for $79. So my total gross sales for the last week, $2,222.28. Could have been 2s all the way across the board, but well. $141.97. When you don't sell a lot, your shipping's down real low, so that's not bad. Mm-hmm. My fees all broken out there, and then my cost of goods, $330. So my net total sales, $1,509.18. I really like to keep that at $2,000 or above, but oh well. We'll see if we can make it up this next week. My gross average sale price, $69.45. Now, I have been really trying to keep it $70 and above, but I'm real close there. And then my net average sale price, $47.16. So it's all right. I'm not buying anything. I haven't been buying a lot. I did some huge buys a few weeks ago, which kind of set me up for probably the next month. So that should help, but it is what it is.
Yep. All right. See Rita in the chat. Hello, Rita. Haven't seen you in a bit live. And
hello.
Elba as well. Hello. Welcome.
Welcome. Tell us about your numbers there.
A little bit better than yours. Again, still not Q4 numbers, to be honest with you. I mean, this should be a good, I'm down 30% from last month and 20% from last year. I'm down almost 40% from 3 months ago. So, my Q4 numbers are not fantastic. It's not bad. I'm not going to complain, honestly.
It's all relative. So guys, again, not to keep saying this over and over and over again, but talking about being down 30%, 40% down from the summer. I mean, that's significant based on our past history with our sales and how they look in different parts of the year. So it is what it is. So
hello, Will and Jerry. Good to see you in there, Jerry. I was just thinking about you. My God, you must have had telepathic energy or something. Like 5 minutes ago, I was just thinking, haven't seen Jerry or Brenda in the chat in a while. And he pops in. Anyway, So I did 42 sales on eBay, 9 on Etsy, 15 on Poshmark. Poshmark has really been hitting it for me lately. I have to say I've been working that platform pretty hard. I've been working it like a pole. And then
inappropriate. I think that's close enough. You guys probably, Robin, you can just take another shot. It's pretty close.
6 on Mercari, no Facebook Marketplace sales this week, for a total of 72 outgoing orders. 2170 on eBay, which is not bad, but not good. That's not a good Q4 number. Sorry, 2170 on eBay, 663 on Etsy, 562 on Posh, 445 on Mercari. One thing I wanted to notice again, if you guys are not using List Perfectly, why the hell not? First of all, 2170 on eBay, but if you add up my Etsy, Poshmark, and Mercari sales, they're almost equal to my sales on eBay, and I would not have had those orders without List Perfectly.
Nope.
So I would have been looking at just $2,000 or $2,100 this week. So I have to say, if you're not using List Perfectly, you should be. If you're thinking about using List Perfectly, but you haven't started yet, there is a link down below with my code. Use the code from this show and you'll get 30% off your first month. It is a month-to-month subscription, so you can change it, increasing or decreasing at any time. You could hit it hard for 3 months and then not need it and just cancel it for a month or two, whatever you need to do. But
and you added $1,500 to your sales this week just because of List Perfectly. So
yeah, you really should be cross-posting your listings. eBay is still my bae. Yeah, always will be. I love eBay. It is still my first and favorite platform, but I would be an idiot to not be taking the money from other platforms.
Idiot.
Yeah. Ugh. List Perfectly is worth every penny and then some. Frankly, they could charge double what they charge and it still would be worth it.
Shh, don't say that.
I didn't say that out loud. If you're listening, Clara, close your ears. Okay, so total sales, $3,849 for the week. $418 of that was shipping. I did have some quite a few international orders and a couple of big heavy items. So my eBay fee is $263, Etsy $56, Poshmark $112, Mercari $59 and change. So my total cost $909 and change. My cost of goods is $278, which is actually pretty low for what I sold for the week. I'm generally around 10% of my sales is what my cost of goods is. And so my total net sales, $2,661. It's right about where I want to be. $2,500 a week is my goal to be for my net. And then my gross average sale price is right in that pocket too. I like to be around $55 gross average sale price. And it's $53.46, so a little bit shy. And $36.96 my net average sale price. So pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good.
So these are I feel like they're solid numbers. Again, it's just, the Q4, it's just not quite there yet.
But I was honestly, that's really what it was. I was honestly hoping to see my normal massive increase in October, November, and December that I get every single year. And I did not see that. In fact, I saw a decrease from what I was doing all year, which were great numbers.
Yeah.
So I can't complain because my first 3 quarters were very good. But on the other hand, I'm just disappointed that it didn't carry through to this quarter.
It'll be interesting. To see.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next year.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in December, and then we both usually have amazing Januaries.
Yeah,
like the whole month of January after Christmas is usually really good. So it's not, fourth quarter is definitely not over yet, and I would even include January as fourth quarter point to
fourth quarter adjacent.
Yeah. Or 2.0, fourth quarter 2.0, even though it's technically first quarter.
Dupage Picaire.
Dupage Picaire.
Good to see you, Greg.
Hello. All right, we are going to hop right into looking at our sales highlights for this last week. I think we got some cool stuff to share.
I think so too.
You first.
Okay, so this was a dress that I'd picked up, I think, at Deseret. I think it's from our local Deseret. I'm getting to the point where I'm not remembering every place I picked something up, but I think this was our local Deseret. It may have been a pickup in our trip in California, but I think it was Deseret. I paid either $4 or $6 for it, one of the two, if it's from Deseret, and it sold for the price you see there. It was listed maybe a week. It had rolled into my weekly sale at 25% off, and it sold for $97.46. I know I showed this in a haul because what I was trying to show you was this brand. This is a very good brand. If you can find the tag, Katy. this brand Assorti for Susan Frias. It always sells quickly and it always sells very well. And it honestly, it's well made, and some of the patterns are very pretty. This one's kind of a meh to me. I think this one kind of looks like an old lady dress, but some of them are really bold and they sell really well. It's kind of like an art to wear type of dress.
I don't think you've had this one for that long.
No, I had it less than a week. It was listed less than a week.
That name sounds very familiar. Like you showed it very recently.
I think I showed it in our last show, actually.
Oh, really? Really? All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. First one up for me. I'm just going to show, there's I've sold quite a few things that I've picked up, like at my Torgum hauls, the 3 that I've done now. Just to show, like, a lot of these t-shirts that I picked up for like $10 a piece. I've sold a lot of them for anywhere from $40, $45, all the way up to $70. So this particular one, this hunting t-shirt, Fitchburg Rod and Gun Club. I always pick up stuff that's like special interest of some sort that I think will be desirable to somebody who likes vintage t-shirts. And so obviously this one's more for like somebody who's into hunting. And this was, worn and faded. It's got the Screen Stars tag on it. And I sold it for the price you see there, $69.99. And it went to Germany. So I paid $10 for this t-shirt, sold it for $70. I think I've only had it for maybe a month at the most. Sold it for $70, and it's going to Germany. I'll be shipping it out tomorrow, which means that they paid shipping as well on top of that. So really, really good flip from $10 to $70 plus. And so, when I'm picking up vintage t-shirts, this is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. It's like, it's you just got to think about like special interests and what kind of things people will be into. And if it's a good graphic. And so, that's basically it for that one.
This was a good sale too. I accepted an offer on this. I sold this for $150. I love when somebody gives you a real good offer. Like, this is listed on sale for $172.46. They offered $150. I was like, oh yeah, all day long. So this came as part of my purchase, my buyout from the Clothing Vault. And this sold for $150. It's been listed maybe a month or so.
Nice. It's a nice jacket.
It is a nice jacket,
but even
with the flaws. So this is a new thing that Crystal and I have started to do, is put the red tape near any flaws on photographs. I stole this from the Clothing Vault. They had done it in their listings, and this is something that we've started doing in our listings. And I think it definitely makes a difference to draw your attention to. It's just like rubber, like red masking tape or whatever, red painter's tape, but it draws your attention to any flaws in a photograph. Sometimes it's hard to see a flaw depending on the lighting that you're using, if it's black on black or if it's a snag, something that's difficult to see. I really think this red tape, which was like $2 from Amazon, I'm sure it's cheaper somewhere else, but I ordered it from Amazon because I'm lazy. And it makes it a lot easier to find the flaws.
Well, and you really want to be really clear about this, because I can't even tell you how many times I've ordered stuff, because I buy a lot of stuff on different selling sites like eBay and Etsy. And I can't even tell you how many times I've bought something and it had a stain that was not disclosed in the listing. And for me, it's like, it's not a huge deal. It's disappointing, but I know I can usually get it out myself, but I shouldn't have to. And that's there's two things that people care about when they order from you. And it's that they get the thing that they thought they were getting. So if it's got a stain, they know it's got a stain, and that they get it quickly. And if you fulfill those two desires, they are going to be very happy. So you always want to be pointing these things out and not trying to ignore them and hope they don't notice. No,
and I just think it makes it so much more clear in the photographs. It draws your attention, your eye, right to whatever the defect or the flaw is. Again, a lot of people are afraid to sell things with flaws. And Katy and I say all the time, do not. If the item is good enough, it doesn't matter if there are flaws. There's not going to be a whole hell of a lot of 1960s military jackets out there. So there's only a finite number of them, and it's okay to add, to sell something with a flaw. Clearly somebody paid $150 plus shipping, by the way, with a flaw.
Exactly. All right. Next up for me is this Boston College sweatshirt. This is another thing I picked up at Torgum. And it even was like, a little bit discolored and stuff, but something like this, I just throw right in with the whites and bleach it, and it came out looking fantastic. Actually, no, this one was in really good condition. I think it had just like one little spot, and I was able to wash it out. But I did run it through with bleach, and it came out looking really, really good.
It looks like brand new.
Yeah, it's in really nice condition.
And while you do white out your background,
yeah,
you didn't, did you do that? It looks like you did it on every photo for this one. You don't do
What's
it on
that?
every photo.
I do it on front and back.
Yeah.
What about it?
It still is, you didn't touch the item itself. So that's no. Clearly,
I take, I've changed some of the ways that I do my photographs now. And so I'm taking all of my white stuff or really light colored stuff and photographing it in front of a dark background. And then I'm removing the background completely. So I'm not lightening up the item itself at all. So it should be an accurate picture. But this one I maybe had up for less than a week.
Yeah.
And I did take an offer for $70 because pretty much, when I'm pricing stuff, I price this to be on sale for $97.99. When I do offers, send out offers, I might go as low as $75 in sending out an offer. So if somebody gets close to that and I'm wanting some sales coming in, $70. I paid $15 for this, flipped it for 70. A lot of these college school sweatshirts and t-shirts do really well.
They do.
And especially if people want vintage and they want something from the school they're going to.
They want the one that looks and feels like the comfy one they wore 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So Crystal makes another good comment about the red tape. It's easier when you're photographing and listing at different times. Like if you do all of your photos first and then you do your listings later, or vice versa, the way she lists for me. If you missed a flaw, or if you forgot, is that a picture of a flaw? What the hell's that picture, that fuzzy picture of? When you go to do the pictures, if it has the red tape, it's going to, remind you what it was.
Absolutely. Okay. Next one for you. There you go. Oh,
this is one that Katy picked up for me in Torgum when she went a couple weeks ago by herself. She did pick up a couple of things for me. I spent a little over $300 myself. I didn't get them for free. Trust me, I paid for them. But she picked out some stuff that she knew that I would really like. And this is one of them. This wasn't listed very long at all, maybe listed a little over a week. It sold for the sale price right there for $172.46. And this actually went to Germany.
Nice.
And we had this priced, that it was between 4 and 5 pounds for shipping. And it was actually, I was able to package it in a poly mailer and get it just under 4 pounds. So I made a little bit of money on the shipping as well. It shipped first class instead of priority. When you're talking first class and priority, in the US, it doesn't make a lot of a difference right now anyway, because of the way shipping is. Usually priorities may be a day or two faster. In going to another country, whether it's first class or priority, makes absolutely no difference in the way that it's transported or the speed that it goes. So all it has to do with is weight and pricing. So it was a nice, very fast flip. I paid $30 for this.
$35. This is the thing I paid the most for of the stuff that I got for you. But I went ahead and did it because it was such a nice jacket. And even though it just had, you can see it has the lining is ripped, but it's just like
worn around the collar on the inside. Yeah, that was the only defect.
And there actually was like a little bit of dirt, like right on the shirt. Or on the front of it? No, I did.
Oh, you cleaned it.
I did. So I was going to say, guys, when it comes to wool jackets like this, these heavy wool jackets, if you have like a little steel brush, it works really well. If all it is really is just some dry dirt, you can brush it right out. It pretty much just comes off like almost like powder. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, so it sold pretty quickly, and I actually made an extra $20 on the shipping too.
Nice. All right. This jacket, it's funny. I got this, I don't know. I think it was when we first went back and tried to do some garage sales after the lockdown. And I went with Vikki. I usually don't find a whole lot when I go with her to garage sales, but there was one place we went and this guy had this hanging up, and I think he wanted like $20 for it. And I was like, would you take 10? And he was like, sure. It's a down jacket, and there's really like a decent amount.
That's a fuzzy photo for you.
Where?
That one.
This?
But no, that right there. That's a little
not.
Out of focus.
See, look.
All right, from far away.
You're so rude. You guys see how she tries to catch me off my game?
Totally trying to.
She wants to catch me off my game. Sorry, my pictures are fan-flippin-tastic.
Whatever.
Anyway, I got this jacket. I only
guess who spends more time on photos and guess who makes more money?
Yeah. Well, I do everything myself, so I don't pay anyone else.
Whatever.
We're going to fight, you guys. We're going to fight right now. Let me put the camera back on so they can see it. Anyway, this is a down jacket, but if you go look it up, like there's so much of this Marlboro stuff. So I've had this jacket for, I don't know, a number of months now. And when I would do offers to buyers, I was offering like $85 on this, even though it's priced at $140 on sale. So I think just this last week I sent out offers on this for $85. And then what do you know? It sells for $139.99. So I sold it for the full $140. So I'm happy about that. But just know that when you do pick up this Marlboro stuff, there's a lot of it out there. So you don't want to spend up too much on it. I would still continue to pick it up. I would definitely pick this up again for 10, even though it didn't sell right away. But I wouldn't pay much more for it, even though it's in really nice down parka. So anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dana, unlike some of our drunk pics. Speak for yourself, Blurry McBlurson.
You both are good with some blurry pictures.
Actually, she's better. She's a much better photographer than I am because she cares to take the time.
You have no patience.
I don't give a shit. My
you
photos,
have no patience.
Whatever. They're good enough. That's how I feel. They're good enough. The stuff still sells. Every once in a while, it's funny you say the drunken pictures. I made a post on Facebook last night about, taking forever because we've got so much stuff to put up for our Christmas stuff. And I was going to share photos this year since we're not having our normal party and I can't share my home with all my friends. And my sister-in-law said something like, don't take any drunk cleavage pics or something. I'm like, well, I'm putting up Christmas trees. What the hell? She's like, I don't know what you do in your house. I was like, we're not that exciting.
No, we're not. Absolutely not. All right. Next one for you.
So this is another Clothing Vault sale. This was the price that you see there. It was $230.96 plus shipping. I do charge shipping on these big, heavy jackets and coats because let's face it, they're not shipping cheap. They're going to cost every bit of $12 to $15 because you cannot fit these type of jackets in a 8x10 poly mailer or a 15x12 poly mailer without ruining them. And I would never do that. So these nicer jackets that people spend money on, spend good money on, I am going to put in a box. I put them in a poly bag. I don't seal it tightly. I keep it loose and I put it in a box that's big enough to fit. So it does, I think it was probably $16 is what it cost me to ship it because it did go to the East Coast. So this was a Clothing Vault purchase from that overall buyout, and it sold for $230.96.
Nice. Very good. Very good. All right. Next up, I have this Dirty Looks t-shirt.
Ooh.
I did not sell it for the price that you see there. But Dirty Looks, how dare you? Dirty Looks, it's a vintage 80s band tee. Really cool t-shirt. Not one of the larger known bands, obviously, like, the ones that everybody's heard of, like Poison. So like, this is one like you have to be more into that music at the time to be as familiar with them. But really cool t-shirt. I liked it. I like the back of it. Nobody rides for free. Screw you tour 1989. I
think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool t-shirt. But I took an offer for $160. This was one I just priced up really high. And these have been listed now for a few weeks. So it's like,
did you look up who was in this band? That was what I wanted. Oh, okay. I didn't know who the members were.
Scroll on down.
I want to see the members of the band.
Henrik Ostergaard.
Oh, nobody. Oh, Chris Caffrey. That's why.
That's why what?
He's a member of TSO.
Okay. Anyway.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yes. So I took an offer for $160. So I wanted to bring some money in, and I am now officially, I've sold 5 of 36 t-shirts. I paid $2,000 for 36 t-shirts. I've sold 5 now, and I'm just over the $1,000 mark. So I have now gotten halfway back from it. And I fully anticipate that I will make some decent money out of these t-shirts once they've all sold off, but, paid basically an average of $55 per t-shirt. And this one sold for $160.
Also Sabotage. I forgot that you probably should have shown Keith that one because Keith is such a ridiculous Sabotage.
He wouldn't have paid $160 for it. So
he probably would not have, but I did. I forgot that he was in Sabotage as well.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
So this was a Poshmark sale. Poshmark I have found for me is what I think I mentioned this before. I'm using it more like my clearance stuff. Like I put everything on Poshmark, but I will send out ridiculously low prices if I've had something for a while. So I will, I send out cheap offers. So for the most part, I'm not getting my $100 plus sales on Poshmark. This is one that was notable because it did sell for $100. I'd sent out an offer for like 140 and they actually came back. We went back and forth a little bit. They came up to 100 and I was willing to accept that. If you look at these prices, this is a Pendleton smoking jacket, not a robe, but Pendleton smoking jackets is because the color was pretty good. I paid $15 for this. Katy grabbed this for me the first time she went to Torgum. Mm-hmm. So probably about 2-3 months ago, and about 3 months ago, and I sold it for $100 pretty quickly. If you look up Pendleton smoking jackets, people sell them way too cheaply. They're putting $25, $35. No way in hell I would spend that.
They almost always sell for at least $100.
Yeah. So $100 is a good sale. Kara, I wanted to let you know TSO is streaming live this year. They're going to be doing it on.
Sandra says it right here.
Okay,
she's buying a ticket to their live stream this year.
Yeah, for some reason TSO never tours to Las Vegas. I used to see them every year in Rhode Island. I do not see them here since I've lived here. They don't tour here, and which really sucks.
Yeah. All right. Next up for me, over on Etsy, I've sold a ton. Like I literally sold 6 things on Etsy yesterday. It was crazy. After it had been real dry there for a while. So I don't know what happened, but this one I sold earlier in the week. And why is it saying on the 14th? I don't know. My thing had said the 15th. So apparently I'm cheating and showing you one from the 14th. But
whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So this one is a wrestling t-shirt. This is one I picked up at Torgum. Again, I paid $10 for it. It was, it had some staining and yellowing and stuff. But again, all the white t-shirts, I throw them in the washer, pretty much dump a ton of, I carefully measure out what I call a shit ton of bleach, dump it on there, wash it.
Carefully measure out.
Yep. And it works great. And so I paid $10 for it. It wasn't like a crazy big sale. But like I said, all these t-shirts I'm buying, I'm going in there and I'm able to come away with 150 t-shirts at $10 a pop. And then they're selling regularly for at a minimum, $40. And so this one I actually sold, it was 10% off. So I sold for $43.19. But again, it's just that whole, it's a really cool graphic. It's something of special interest. It's got kind of a funny saying on it. Come on, make my day. Anybody who's into wrestling in high school and college and whatnot. This guy's got kind of some crazy hair going on. He's looking a little crazy. But anyway.
So Dana says that TSO comes here. They have not been here since I've lived here then. You might want to check to see the last time they came here. I've been here. This will be my 8th Christmas here in Vegas, and they have not toured here since I've been here because my friend is the tour manager for the East Coast shows, not the West Coast, but he's the tour manager for East Coast, and I'm always checking the
Dana says you're full of lies.
They might have been here. I'm not saying they would never tour here. I've only lived here for 7, something years, but this is my 8th Christmas here, and they've never been here since I've been here.
All right, next one for you.
This is a Macari sale. So I picked this thing up. You can't really see too well what it is. You can tell it's like a boombox. I picked it up at the bins. I think the lady forgot to charge me for it, to be honest with you. It was not by the pound, but at most she charged me for $2 for it. It was a day that I picked up the first time I went to the bins, and I picked up with Corey and picked up a whole cart full of crap for $52. Mm. So $169. It was either free or $2. One of the two may have been have been free. And the buyer paid shipping. It sold for $169, and it sold within a week of it being listed.
And then I was forced to help ship it.
You were forced to help me package it.
So rude. All right, next up, look at this beauty. Look at this beauty right here. This giant slalom ski team sweatshirt. It's gorgeous. I love it. Love the graphic. You guys know how I feel about my ski stuff. I really haven't had this that long. I think I bought this. I either got this at Torgum or I ordered it online, but I didn't pay more than $20 for it. I think I paid $15 for it. Gorgeous red. Love it. It pops. Look at it. It pops. What do you think? You love it?
It totally pops.
It totally pops. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was 10% off, so I got $62.99. And what's funny is somebody bought this yesterday, And I went to go end it on my other platforms, and it wasn't on eBay. And I'm like, oh no, did I already sell this? And I went and looked and on eBay, and it turned out that I had accepted an offer for $55 on eBay, and they never paid. And I know I don't have automatic opening a case or whatever.
Which I don't know why.
I know, whatever.
I bug you about it all the time.
I know. But it usually isn't an issue. But it had been like, they bought it like 9 days ago. And it was based on their name. It was one of those companies that buys for people internationally.
Yeah. Like Shop America. So it was
weird. Right. So it was weird that they hadn't paid. And so rather than open a case, I just went ahead and canceled it, buyer request, because I'm like, it's been 9 freaking days. And they have an opportunity to like approve it or deny it. And they went ahead and approved it, and it was canceled. It's because I was like, phew, I thought I had sold it and it was gone, but it was still here. So I sold it for a little bit more, $62.99. So I was pretty happy with that. And I paid like $15 for it, I would say. All right. And it's beautiful. Let's look at it again. Let's look at it big. Come on. It's a nice one. It's a nice one.
It's not Jesus skiing, though.
You shut your mouth. It could be. He might be under there. He's got his hair in a ponytail under his hat. You don't know. All right, go ahead.
So anyway, I've had this for quite a while. I picked this up at a garage sale. Every time I find these vintage cosmetology boxes, this is what, if you went to cosmetology school, this is what you carried your stuff in when you went to class. When, you know, in the 60s, the mostly 60s and 70s is when you find them. A lot of people buy them for decorating purposes, especially if you're a hair salon or a hairstylist. But they sit for a little bit. Sometimes people are going to want to buy them from the school that they went to. I paid $4. I specifically remember this. I paid $4 at a garage sale. I think I've had it for 2 years. But again, it doesn't take up a lot of space.
I remember you getting this. I don't think it's been 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's been about 2 years. But anyway, this whole year has been a blur, so it was definitely wasn't this year. So I paid $4 for it. It finally sold on Etsy for.
Let's look. There you go.
Sold for $79.95 plus $14.95 shipping. It's not heavy. It weighs probably 3 pounds, but it is a little bit big, and it's going to be bigger than 12 by 12 by 12. And it is going back to New York.
Nice.
Actually, I'm sorry. It's going to New Jersey. It's right over the bridge. So
nice. All right, I got a twofer up next. This was sold yesterday, I believe. Somebody bought 2 t-shirts from me. They bought this cockroach Gary Larson t-shirt. And then this other, whoops, let me click on that. This other Gary Larson, this deer hunting one. So this one I bought from an online store. I paid like $20 for it. And this one I got at Torgum, and I paid $10 for it. So $30 total I paid for these. Let's see what I got for the cockroach one. I got 10% off. So $89.99. So I bought this one for $20, sold it for $89.99. And then the deer hunting one, I paid $10 for, and let's see what I sold it for. Again, 10% off, $62.99. This one wasn't as good of condition, and there were a lot more of them. It's a little bit more common. So $89.99 for the cockroach one, $62.99 for the other one. So what that ends up being $150 basically for 2 t-shirts that I paid a total of $30 for.
Yeah, pretty much.
I haven't had either one of these longer than a couple of months. I think the cockroach one I got a couple months ago, and the other one I got more recently. So somebody has some really cool Far Side t-shirts to wear now. They're awesome.
Yeah, it's funny, Greg, how we remember what we paid for 99% of the inventory. I agree with you. I can remember almost everything exactly what I paid for it. It's getting to the point now my inventory is a little bit large. I'm at about 3,300 items. So depending on the clothing item, I can't always remember, but I can. Yeah. It's darn close, and I know a ballpark because I know I didn't pay more than X if it's a clothing item. But this one was pretty fast. This sold pretty quickly. Are you sharing your screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one I picked up at a garage sale. I paid $10 for it. I had stopped picking these up for years because they basically were paperweights. If anybody else has been selling as long as I have, they're going to remember that anything Bell and Howell would generally sit forever. And it just doesn't sell the way that it used to, or it didn't sell the way that it used to. I think in the last 5 years ago or so, vintage recording equipment and vintage movie equipment has had a bit of a resurgence. I think these younger kids are getting into filmmaking, and they're getting into doing it in with vintage items. And there's a lot more nostalgia around this stuff from the 70s that, 60s and 70s that didn't really exist even like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, these were a dime a dozen. Anyway, so now I would say pick them up. 5 years ago, I would have told you leave it. Didn't matter if it was free. Because they're big and bulky and they're hard to test. And if you don't know how to test them completely, it can be difficult. But it sold pretty quickly. I've had it listed. I bought it maybe a month ago. I've had it listed for 2 weeks. Sold for $69.95. They paid $55 to ship it. It was calculated shipping. It shipped to New York.
New York City.
Yep.
Nice. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here with another twofer. I like to pick up these old kind of jersey shirts. This one's has more jersey material, but it's kind of a polyester blend. Or polyester, I think, but it's just kind of it's not really like a jersey, but this is for the San Diego Chargers, and this one's from either the 70s or the 80s. It's just a really old jersey. And then the other one is the Seattle Seahawks one, and you can see this Garon, or however you say that brand. It's like an 80s one, and this one was dead stock, and I've had these both for a little while. And what's funny is, actually, I haven't had it for all that long, but at least a few months. This Chargers one, I have sent out lots of offers on eBay, and for as little as I think $60. But I sold these both within the last week. And let me show you. And I probably paid $10 a piece for them. And so for the Chargers one, 10% off. So I sold that one for $89.99. And then the Seattle Seahawks one, again, paid $10 for and sold for, on sale, 10% off, $89.99. And the Seattle Seahawks one actually went to Germany. So they paid $89.99 and they paid shipping on top of that. So
I don't think you can call that a bandwagon Seahawks fan if they're buying it from Germany. Because the Seahawks, let's face it, they were terrible until just a few years ago. So everybody, you had to be a real big fan. And then they got really good over the past few years. And then they have a whole lot of bandwagon fans, as they call them.
Look at you pretend like you know something about sports.
I know some kind of things about sports. And let's put it this way. The Patriots suck without Tom Brady now.
Yeah.
So that's not an interesting team to watch.
Whatever. Got real awkward in here.
What?
We're talking about sports. All right. So that's it for our sales highlights for the last week. Of course, at any time you can go and look at our stores, our Etsy stores and our eBay stores, and look at our solds for the last week and see all the sad things we sold, as well as the cool stuff.
I don't know what's happening. I've got this weird Pebbles thing. It's
that's what you did to your hair. What did you think was going to happen?
It's my bangs are shorter because I got my hair sticking up.
Why don't we go ahead and we're making some pretty good time here. Let's go ahead and show some of the stuff that we got. Everything you're showing today is stuff you got in Tucson?
Almost everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost everything. Yeah, because all of my good clothing items are with Crystal. So you'll get some of those next week.
Yeah.
And the week after. Here's the thing. We're not going to be sourcing anytime. So we're going to be spreading those over the next few weeks.
Yep.
So I picked these up at a garage sale, actually, the week before we went to Tucson. And I just thought these were pretty fun. So everybody knows the 70s, 80s Mary Mushroom pattern, right? It was more of a Sears thing, but then it kind of took off everywhere. So I paid $2 for these at a garage sale. There are 22 plates here, and they're these divided plates. They're a cross between a paper plate and a plastic plate. I think they're kind of like what they used to call a chinette, maybe. You can tell it's thin plastic. You don't want to put this in the dishwasher. It'll melt. You probably don't even want to put it in the microwave. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it in the microwave.
But they're all stamped on the back that they were 10 cents. So anyway, when I did some comps on these, They were, somebody sold 2 of them for $30. I was like, what? So I ended up packaging them for $70 plus shipping for 22 of them. I mean, they can be washed and reused for sure, but they're not going to last you forever. They're not, I mean, they're a thin plastic, but they're definitely reusable. So I think they should sell pretty quick for $70.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's see. This is my friend I got in Tucson. I don't buy a lot of plush. I just buy them when they're interesting to me. So he was $3.99. If you like otters.
Isn't that a beaver?
Oh, I guess he's a beaver. Yeah. He's got the big buck teeth. He's a beaver. Whatever.
You guys,
huge beaver.
Vikki doesn't know her beavers. Just saying. Q, Sandra, and Allison.
There's no tag on the butt, but he's a really nice, soft and squishy and plush one. And it's like the mommy and baby, and these tend to sell pretty well. So I paid $3.99. I think I'm going to list him for like $75.
Ooh. Ooh.
This is another plush that I really liked. I paid, same for him, $3.99. This is also a Goodwill purchase. It's vintage. It's a bobcat. So, again, I really liked him too. He's in like really good shape. He's big. He's oversized. The only problem is on the bottom. I think he had like faux leather paw pads and they've worn away. So they've like disintegrated over time. So you can see the stuffing inside. So I'm going to try to find a way to maybe cover those. Maybe some kind of iron-on thing or something. I'm not sure which, but so he was $3.99. Again, I think I'm going to charge quite a bit for this one. Probably like, again, like $75 or so. He's big. He's heavy. He's like got a wire frame in him. I don't know. He's pretty cool.
Well, and the thing about his pads is that, I mean, he's not the kind of plush that kids are playing with. He's just going to sit.
Yeah, he's a decor piece.
You're not going to see that. So
yeah. So this I picked up from Leah at Gracie's Vintage, who is in the chat. I'm not sure what I paid because she always gives me a little bit of a deal, but the price on the box was $22. And it's a vintage, Camp is the brand, a vintage girdle. So it's the kind that has like the steel boning inside and it's like a corset girdle. It's got the wraps on the side, both sides.
It's painful.
Yeah, it's probably not a comfy one. It's in a nice off-white fabric. It's got like a floral print on it. It's like a print on white, which is not really going to show up very well on there. But anyway, I think I paid close to $20 for it. She probably gave me a couple bucks off or so. This particular one or this particular style, I should be able to sell it for about $125.
Super cool.
If it were black, it would sell for even more, but it does sell very well. I'm going to try to show it laced up on a mannequin.
All right. All right.
Let's see.
What else you got?
It might be a lynx. It might be a lynx and not a bobcat. I don't know.
She'll do some research.
Let's see. I've got a bunch of linens. To show you. So this is from Tucson. There were a couple pieces. I think I paid $6.99 for the set. This is a twin size set of sheets. It says Hug-a-Bunch. I don't know if anybody remembers these dolls. I know I've showed the dolls on the show before. If you find these dolls, they're plush. Pick them up. They sell for $50 and up every one. Some of them sell for even more. Well, apparently the sheets sell very well too. So this does not have, it has the flat sheet and the fitted sheet, but not the pillowcase, unfortunately. I paid $6.99 and I definitely will get about $100 for the set of sheets, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, totally crazy. But yeah, it's and they're worn. They're a little faded from wash, but there's no stains. They're in good shape. Let's see, what else did I get? Now these were total nostalgia purchase for me. I didn't even know if these had any value, but I had to get them. I had these sheets on my bed when I was a little girl. So these are Walt Disney Bambi sheets.
Real cute.
They're super cute. I literally had these on my bed when I was a little girl. My brother and I both. These I also paid $6.99 for. This I do have the pillowcase for these, and these sell for about, these should sell for about $50 to $60. I loved those sheets. They're so cute.
Real cute.
What else do I have here? If Rita happens to still be watching, she is actually the last set of sheets that I got of these. She purchased from me for her grandson. Monster Jam, Gravedigger
Nice.
sheets. These have the pillowcase, the flat sheet, and the fitted sheet. I paid, I think, $7.99 for this set of sheets. These sell for about $75. Maybe even a little bit more. I don't know what it is about the Gravedigger stuff that sells as well as it does, but
I don't know.
It really does. Let's see, it's got the Gravedigger. Anyway, flat sheet, fitted sheet. Again, kids sheets, they don't take up a lot of space. I think these sheets are full size. The Gravedigger ones, they may even sell for a little bit more because they're full size because they have 2 pillowcases. I didn't pull them apart to double check.
Mm.
I picked this up in Tucson at an estate sale that happened to be right near the Airbnb that we were staying at. I picked up quite a few things there. Vintage, everything was excellent priced. But this I paid, I think, $2 for. And this is just a vintage children's like coverlet. It's chenille. It's handmade. It has like a little, I don't know if it's children's or if it's maybe you put it on your table as a Easter thing. Maybe it has little lambs on it. I don't know. It's
How cute.
It's really cute. I paid about $2. I think I'll price it at like $65 or so. It's just really cute. It's very nicely made. Mm-hmm. There's a couple tiny holes that you can see because I'm holding it up. You can see that are probably from wash or wear. And I think this needs to be washed. I haven't washed it yet.
Yeah.
But $2.
$2. What?
Let's see. Am I going to keep going just forever?
Well, are you gonna let me go with time?
You should go. I'm like, I can just go forever.
So we went to Tucson, and to be honest, like I didn't find a whole lot overall. It was not a super productive trip for me. The vast majority of anything good that I got at a Buffalo Exchange, and then also at Gracie's Vintage from our friend Leah. And so we hit that's in Kingman, and so we always go through there anytime we go anywhere in Arizona. So we make sure to stop in there. And so I did get a few things from her, and then I did get some stuff on the way back. Because my thrifting had been so dismal, this one had mercy on me and let me go to the Phoenix Buffalo Exchange that I always do really well at. And so when I was at that Buffalo Exchange in Phoenix, the one in Tucson was terrible. They had pretty much no vintage. But the one in Phoenix, I did pick up a couple of shirts for myself that I was pretty excited about.
Are you going to show those?
Yeah, I am, because they're cool, okay? There are people in the chat. I know Sandra will really like them. Robin will really like them. There's some people who are going to be very excited about them.
Maybe Dana.
Yeah, Dana too. So first of all, not vintage, but just a really cool baseball tee, Return of the Living Dead, which is one of my favorite movies. So I love that. I love it, love it, love it. And then the other one I got for myself is this Hammer House of Horror t-shirt. It's got Christopher Lee on there as Dracula. So just a couple of cool horror tees, not vintage, but cool shirts. See, Sandra really liked them.
So yes, Melissa, we did go to the Buffalo Exchange outlet. It is in Nogales. I think it's how it's pronounced in Arizona.
It's right on the border.
It's right on the border. Literally, you're at the border wall to Mexico. I will say it feels, if any of you have been to Mexico, I've been to Mexico a dozen times, all over Mexico. It definitely feels like you're already in Mexico when you're there, as far as the neighborhood and everything's in Spanish. We expected that it was going to be a much larger place than it was, which was kind of funny because there was no indication online what it was like. But it was about the size of a regular Buffalo store inside. It wasn't very big.
It's pretty tiny.
There are only 2 in the country. One is, I believe, is in the Atlanta area, and one is
Texas. I'm not sure.
Texas. No, I think it's Atlanta.
Okay.
Because I was talking to the girl that worked there. So they're positioned close to the border because 95% of their customers were customers from Mexico. Due to recent changes, their customers are no longer allowed to come over to shop from Mexico and go back home. And they would come and shop and buy everything up and then go back to Mexico and resell it or have it for their family or have it in shops there, what have you. But they're no longer allowed to do that. So their business is very, very far down over the last couple of years since some recent changes at the border.
Yep.
They no longer can come over to shop. They can only come over if they have a valid medical appointment and paperwork for the medical appointment. So they can't cross border just to shop. So unfortunately, they've lost a lot of their business, and hopefully some of those things will change.
Yeah. But she found a lot of really good stuff there. I literally got 2 t-shirts. There wasn't a whole lot of men's, and I literally got the only 2 vintage t-shirts in the entire store, and they were just okay. So it was a huge meh for me.
I bought a lot of stuff.
She found a lot.
If we go back to Tucson, we will definitely
go back there. So
for me, there was nothing priced over $10, and that was on the few jackets that I purchased. Almost everything there. My average purchase price was like $525. I figured it out. So I spent a little over $300 there. Again, Crystal has all of it, but she'll see the majority of what I gave to her was from there. And their stuff was very good.
Vikki felt really bad. She felt guilty because the whole trip I wasn't really finding much. But honestly, like when we went to Tucson, I just assumed I just have to set my expectations. Like I'm probably not going to find anything in most stores. And that was pretty much the way it was. And so I just enjoyed eating lots of good food, basically, and driving your ass around. So
pretty much.
So
I have a personal chauffeur.
Yeah. So first thing we did was go to Gracie's Vintage, and I got some cool stuff there. I haven't looked any of these up to see comps and stuff like that, but this is a cool Snoopy Casablanca crossover t-shirt, Bogey Beagle. And it's just kind of it's a nice big size. It doesn't have a tag in it, but it is single stitch. It is vintage. It's got an awesome graphic, and Snoopy stuff does really well. And so this is kind of a cool t-shirt. I don't know. I think I paid like $10 for it. I don't remember how much she sold it to me for. But I would imagine I would be able to sell for minimum $50, if not a bit more, because it is a nice big graphic, nice big size. Get off your phone, quit Facebooking.
It was a marketplace.
Get off of there.
It was a marketplace question.
Get off of there.
I'm answering it before they change their
One
mind.
job at a time.
Go ahead.
We'll wait.
Ass.
All right. I got a couple of Highlander t-shirts from her, and she gave me a deal on these. I think she had them priced at like 25 or something like that, or 27, but I got them for $20 a piece. And they're nice big size, XL. This is from Highlander. I believe this is like Highlander the show, but they're made in the US. You can see the official Highlander tag. And this one I think is pretty cool. I haven't seen this particular graphic before.
Have you washed these already?
No, I didn't touch your face though.
You're close to touching my face.
Settle down. Anyway, and I haven't seen this particular one before. I'm always a sucker for the Highlander stuff, even though it does tend to take a little bit of time to sell. Yeah, this one says 1998. But I should be able to sell this for 60, 75, who knows? I have to look it up and see if there are any comps for that particular design. And here is the other one. This is also an extra large, nice black shirt with a nice graphic on it. I think this is one of the characters from the television show. But again, probably
I don't even know what I'm looking 60, at. That's a Highlander 75. One too?
Yeah. It's a character from the show.
I don't know what the Highlander is.
You don't know.
I don't.
You don't know.
Dana, I did not get my cold cooties on your goodies from Gracie's Vintage. I haven't even touched the bag. It's in my office. Everything's separate.
Oh, and Alexis, yes, I got my book. It is awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. Alexis sent me a really awesome horror book.
Horror book?
Yes, a horror book. All about horrors. All about whores.
Book of whores.
All about whores. Anyway, it's really cool. I don't know. It's in here somewhere. I would show it, but my room's kind of messy right now.
Your room?
My office, which is in a room, which is mine. You joik. Anyway.
My room's a mess, Mom.
And this awesome Ski Colorado sweatshirt with the cute little polar bears skiing on their little skis. Adorable. I guess I only paid like $10 for. And it's on a Hanes tag. It's from the 80s. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it, love it.
We have an extra number of super fans today. I can see we have 5 thumbs down today. So if you're watching the show, we've got 155 people watching. Give us a thumbs up to kind of drown out the haters,
or a thumbs down if you want to give us an extra dose of haterade.
That's not funny.
I think it's fine. And of course, I could never, ever, ever. Here, let me help you with that. I can never pass up a good Star Trek t-shirt. This is from the original motion picture. And it's on an anvil tag from the 80s, of course. Nothing on the back. That's awesome. I think I paid like $20 for that as well. And that, I'll go back to you since you seem
Caffeinated Christy. Hello.
Hello.
You're a pain in the ass. All right. So something else that I shouldn't say something. Someone changed their mind, Robin. I guess so. And we only have 4 thumbs down. Anyway, something else I picked up this week. Again, more linens. I had some good luck with the linens this week. I picked up this satin edge blanket. That's definitely all 60s here. So it's got this great, it's this nice flannel blanket. It's super soft. I can see why someone would like this. And then the satin edge is even more like mod flowers. So I think it's only a twin size, which is unfortunate. If this were full, I think it would sell a lot better. It might be full size, actually. Anyway, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I paid $3.99 for this. It's nicely worn, but not, there's no holes or anything like that. It's just, it's been washed so much that it's super soft. And if used blankets didn't skeeve me out, I might keep it myself. Yeah. But I think I'm going to sell this one for probably, I don't even know. I'll probably list it for like $129. I've never seen anything like it, honestly. Let's see. Oh, Lori says, I'd give you 5 thumbs up if I could. I adore and appreciate you both so much. Thanks, Lori. You. That's very sweet. Okay, $9.99 at the Goodwill. I picked up this is a full size chenille bedspread or coverlet.
So much chenille today.
Lots of chenille. Schlemazel. Ew. So this is just like a typical floral one. It's white chenille with just pretty flowers on it. It's not a huge intricate pattern. The ones that have the more intricate patterns are like a wedding ring pattern and things like that sell for a little bit more. That would sell for maybe 150 to 200. This one will probably sell for about 125 as well. So I like it.
Crazy. People spend a lot of money on vintage linens.
Well, I mean, it really, first of all, they're not made the way they used to be made. Mm-hmm. They just, Captain and chenille. That's a good one. So I think, and they're just nice. Older linens are just really nice. I love selling them. I don't love using them. I know that's hypocritical. Used stuff kind of skeeves me out.
That's because how you were raised, though. You didn't go to thrift stores like I did.
Probably. I love to sell it. I appreciate it. I love to pass it on to another collector or someone else that will appreciate and use it. I want to save it from the landfill. I want to learn the history, but I definitely don't want to use it myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The clothing I would. The clothing I absolutely would. The problem with that is that I am a borderline plus size girl and have a very large chest, and vintage clothing was not made for big girls like me. So, all right. So let's see. What else do I have here? Yeah. Okay. I will show you my 5 articles of clothing that I've picked up, and then I'm done.
All right.
Then I'm done. Yeah, well, I will buy used clothing. I'll wear it for myself. Vintage clothing, I would love to fit me. It just doesn't. It's made for tiny women. And if I ever do find anything in my size, it's guaranteed to be a potato sack looking ugly polyester thing from the 70s. So no, that's not getting on my body. So Dragonfly. I know I've talked about this before. I'm sure other people have as well. It was pretty popular early 2000s. It's not a super hot brand anymore. It's just Dragonfly. It was a company by Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue. They had these big, loud camp style shirts. Now, what's the traditional Dragonfly shirts? Maybe $30. Nothing fantastic. But depending on what the topic is on these all over print shirts, some of them sell for quite a bit. And this happens to be one of them. This is a Bootsy. I don't know who the hell that is. I'm sure someone will be able to tell me.
I don't know.
Clearly it's somebody who plays guitar. I don't know who it is. All I know is that I paid $5.99 for the shirt and I have it listed for over $100 and it will sell for that. The last few have sold. The last few have sold for like $75 to $85, and there aren't any listed right now. Bootsy Collins, I don't know who that is. I knew someone would know who it is. I don't know who it is. So
maybe like a funk.
Yeah,
guy.
It might be. Okay, funk.
Go.
Thank you. Thanks, Rosie. Rosie's Closet. That's Crystal, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so something else Katy picked up for me in Torgum. I think this was $10, maybe $15.
Let me see. I don't know what it is.
It's a sweater.
I know, but I can't see what it is. Oh yeah.
I have this listed for a little over $100 as well. This is from 1970s, guys. This is a 70s Mickey Mouse sweater. And again, we're talking about chenille. This is kind of like a chenille handmade applique. I don't see how close I can get it to the camera so you can see what it is.
You're like not showing it at all.
I can't see the camera. It's in back. Okay. So see, it's got like, it's poofy.
Yeah.
But yeah, $15. I have this listed for over $100. It's a good size for vintage. There has a couple of little flaws on the sleeves. Basically just some stains that are a little bit, they're pretty light. You can't see them unless you're up close.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice them, but Crystal did when she was listing. So yeah, pretty cool.
I like it.
And another Torgum purchase. This was $20, $25.
No, I think this one was $30.
For some reason, her prices that she got when she went to Torgum by herself were much higher than
it was somebody else that was pricing. You can't really.
So $30. This is a vintage Woolrich. I think this one is from the 1950s. This one's pretty old. Might be 60s. It's just a heavy wool hunting coat. It's got some weird pockets in the back, which I don't get that. I don't know why there's pockets in the back.
You stuff the ducks in there after you kill them?
Ew.
I don't know.
That's gross. But I had that priced at like $250. Let's see what else. This one I grabbed from the bins. My second trip to the bins. This is a really, really heavy hand knit sweater. It's definitely wool. And it was probably from the 90s or so, based on the oversize. I put it as vintage 90s. It could be a little older, but I'm thinking 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this listed for like $100 as well. Again, I paid maybe $2 because it's from the bins. Maybe not even that much.
Very good. Very good.
And then my last one, which was a Torgum purchase. I hope you didn't pay $25 for this.
I feel like 20.
This is also a vintage Woolrich, but this is more of a shirt jack. It's not a not a big, huge, heavy. It's just red buffalo plaid. This one will probably sell for like $100. This is also vintage. This one's like 60s ish for the tag.
Yep.
And that's all I got.
See,
today.
I was right. Game pocket for birds.
Ew.
Or map pocket on the rear. There you go. See.
Ew.
Britain says the same thing. Pockets might be for
you guys is all.
They
gross.
would get them and they put them in the thing back there. Does it smell like dead bird?
No, it doesn't smell like dead bird. Ew.
All right, I'll show a few more things I got. Some of the stuff I got at Buffalo Exchange, the one in Phoenix. Now there's two in Phoenix. One of them is like on University Place, University, whatever the road is right there, right by the university. And that one never has any good vintage. And then there's the other one, and that one I always find some cool stuff. This is probably my favorite thing I got there. This is just like a desert racing t-shirt. It's just got a really cool racing graphic on it. And then the back, you can see on the back is pretty cool. Woods Off-Road Racing Products. And this is an old 80s Hanes tag right there.
Like ew, Sandra said appropriate color for dead birds. Good way to hide the blood.
That's pretty funny.
So JW, just so you know, everything that we've shown here is stuff that we picked up in a different state. We live just outside of Vegas. We're in Henderson. Nevada. And everything that Katy has shown today and everything that I have shown today has been picked up either in LA or in the Tucson area of Arizona.
Yeah. Yep. All right. This is a sweatshirt. One of the very few things I actually picked up in one of the thrift stores there. This is a Grand Tetons sweatshirt. So Grand Tetons, that's in Wyoming, like by Jackson Hole and stuff, and just a really cool moose on it. The one time I was in Jackson Hole and saw the Grand Tetons, I did see a couple of moose there. So they do hang out a bit. This is a Russell Athletic tag.
You saw the Mises?
So this is a Mises. So this is probably late 80s, early mid 90s.
Russell Athletic. Show that tag again one more time. It's not just that it's made in the USA. It's that the difference is that the Russell Athletic, you can see
it's got
Eagle's
the eagle
head.
on there.
The eagle's head is how you can tell when it's an older one. The newer ones have the red second part of the R, but it doesn't have the head. It's just a curve.
Word. And like the 80s ones, earlier 80s, they're just like orange, kind of an orange color. I'll show you, let's see. This just a Hawaii lava t-shirt. I've gotten this t-shirt like this a couple of times, and they always usually sell for a good $35-40.
They always usually?
Yeah, always usually. Yes. Don't sass me. But I love the colors on it, the wraparound graphic. This one I think is fitting because somebody is a loon. But these ones I can usually sell for $30-35. So, or got for a couple bucks. But really, this is the kind of stuff I was picking up at the thrift stores there. Like nothing crazy exciting. This is a Run
shirt.
Austin and Oak Park 10K shirt, long sleeve shirt. So I'll still sell this for $35-40, but not very exciting. And then I'll show you, I'm going to wrap this up with the two things I picked up at the old Buffalo Exchange outlet.
The Beefalo.
Yeah, so this one
goes with the Mises.
I mean, it's okay, but it's 1989 Daytona Bike Week. It's actually interesting because
Stonewash.
Yeah, I like the Stonewash, but it's not that exciting.
You always find it in blue or gray. You don't see it in red very often.
This doesn't really have any kind of cool graphic or anything like that on it, but it's 1989, single stitch. It's on the Soft Tee by TJ's tag right there, which is an 80s tag. So, yeah, it's okay. It's a good size. It was kind of like, I mean, what else am I going to buy? I got it for like $2. This is actually,
I'll have you know, by the way, that everything that Katy bought except for her little Buffalo trip, I did buy for her while we were in Tucson because.
And you know how much it cost her? $14.
Yes,
I added up.
True.
$14. She's like, I bought a lot of stuff for you, and I'm like, $14 seems like a pretty good deal to have somebody drive you from Vegas to Arizona. Okay, like 6.5 hours each way, not counting stops. And drive your ass all over the city. So $14. Let's see if I find an Uber.
It's a cheap Uber.
Let's see if you find an Uber that does that for you, whiny McWinerson. All right, this is probably the best thing that I did find at that outlet. Somebody, it probably made it there because nobody knew what the heck it was, and it doesn't look very exciting. But on the front of it, I don't know how to pronounce this. Otari. And then on the back of it, and then on the back of it, it says technology you can touch. So this is actually a Japanese company. They've been around since like the 60s, but this t-shirt, you can see from the tag here, this is definitely an 80s tag. And so in the 80s at this time, what was probably the most popular thing that they were making was reel-to-reel recording devices. So it's a Japanese.
And they sell for a ton.
Yeah. So anybody who would know what this company is and what they sell, this is a very specific audience you're looking at.
Audiophile would know.
Yes. And so it's just kind of a cool shirt. Again,
see Greg's cool tape recorders. You are correct.
Yep.
Greg knows his old electronics like me.
And I find that like vintage tech stuff sells really well, but because it doesn't have like a crazy graphic or recognizable name for like the average person, it was one of 2 vintage t-shirts that made it to the outlet.
Greg says price it high.
Yeah, I definitely will. I think it's really cool. So anyway.
Yeah, see, Kimberly says, yeah, but you can turn that 14 into 500. That is accurate.
Absolutely.
Accurate. So basically I paid her $500 to drive me around.
I would say that's a stretch right there. Anyway, guys, so we're gonna wrap it. So we actually did. We only we managed to keep it to 1 hour and 20 minutes.
We did.
That's impressive.
It's very.
I've got a good hour of light outside so that I can go out and finish up decorating the front of our house.
I'm going to finish decorating the inside.
Well, I still
take us
have more
another
inside.
day. You have more inside.
I'm going to do the outside. Then I got to get dinner, put dinner in the crock pot. And then we got to wait a few hours for dinner while I'm putting together the old Christmas village downstairs. And by next week, I should have my movie Christmas tree up here. Mm-hmm. I'll have that set up.
Your geek tree.
My geek tree. So I'm excited about that because I have my cool little tree. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. And we will see you next Sunday on the show. Mm-hmm. And I hope that everyone's staying safe. I hope you all have a good Thanksgiving.
I have one more thing I want to say before we sign off. If you are a fan of List Perfectly, go take a look at their page on Instagram and enter the List Perfectly contest to win free stuff. They have contests all the time, but this is actually one of the really good contests to talk about how List Perfectly works for you, how you enjoy it as a business owner. I'm going to be entering the contest because they've got a whole bunch of free good crap to win. And I love me some good stuff. But also, definitely, like we've been saying all along, since this thing started in March, hashtag don't be a dick.
It's true.
Everybody be nice to each other. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, whether it's by yourself with a Hungry Man TV dinner or you are fortunate enough to see your friends and family.
Yeah. Stay safe, though.
Stay safe. We're thankful for you.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.